Hey guys, I'm Kelly and I'm going to be taking over the TLB channel today to show you the do's and don'ts of eyeshadow application. So if you've ever felt a little bit lost when it comes to eyeshadow application, I'm going to show you a super easy technique that everyone can do for a perfect everyday look using the Everyday Eyeshadow Palettes. So I've already completed my base using these two products today, the Just a Tint 3-in-1 Skin Conditioner, and I wear the shade My Fair Lady, as well as the Minute Finish Face Palette in the shade Go Off. And today's eyeshadow look can be made with any of the Everyday Face palettes, but I'm going to be using the Fairy Princess Quad. So let's go ahead, zoom in, and get started. Okay, so we can really see the differences. I'm going to designate a do eye and a don't eye. Now the first rule is that there are no rules. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of do's and don'ts today, but even if I say that something is a don't and it works for you, I think you should do it because makeup is an art. Everything is very personal, and if you like your eyeshadow or any other step of your makeup routine one way, I think you should do it that way. Even if it's technically on the don't list, there really are no rules here, but this is going to be a really good guideline. So first things first, our don't is don't skip priming the eye. So you can use an eyeshadow primer, you can use a product that's specifically made for this, or you can also use a concealer. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Quick Conceal on our do eye. Having some sort of a base laid down like this is going to help all of our shadows blend a little bit better, look a little bit more vibrant, and wear a little bit better throughout the day. Now from here, you can set this down with a little bit of powder. This is optional, you don't have to set it down, but you might have an easier time blending if you do. So I'm going to go back to the face palette I mentioned and just take a little bit of that powder and set it down. Our next do is do go in with a transition shade. So these quads make it so easy for you to pick your perfect transition shade. Mine is going to be this color right here. I recommend a shade that's a few shades darker than your skin tone, but not too dark, which I'll show you guys on the don't eye. And then take that and apply it into the crease. And this shadow is going to start building up some definition, and it's going to make everything else blend a little bit easier over top. And for the don't eye, we're going to go in with the darkest shade first. I don't recommend doing this because that's when things get a little bit hard to blend, especially if you're a beginner. I don't recommend going in with the darkest shade first. So for our do eye, I'm going to go ahead and take that same darker shadow and apply it into the outer corner. This little formula that I'm sharing with you guys today is going to work for every palette, every eyeshadow look. It's a transition in the crease, a darker color on the outer corner, and then the main color on the lid. Boom, that will translate to any palette that you have. And these quads especially are made for that. They kind of take that guesswork out of getting ready in the morning because they've already curated the perfect shadows to use for an everyday look. I'm also going to add that outer corner shadow to the don't eye, but I'm going to share another don't technique for this one, and I don't recommend that you push with too much pressure on your brush. So for example, if this is your eye, you really want the brush just to be dusting over the surface. You don't want to be pushing down because that's when it's going to be a lot harder to blend the shadow out. So I'm going to show you on here, I'm really just pushing it in, not really doing like circular motions or trying to effortlessly blend it out. If you're putting too much pressure on the brush, it's gonna be so much harder to blend. Okay, you guys, where do we wanna go from here? What I love about this palette is you could go two completely different directions. If I take this shadow up here, which is called Slippers, we'll get this like warm toned red look. Or if I take this more taupey purple called Ball Gown, we could go more cool toned. So even with just 4 shades here, you could go so many different directions, but let's go ahead and take this cool toned satin shade, and I'm gonna pick this one up on my finger. That's another great tip when you're applying shimmer shadows. If you tap them in with your finger, you can really bump up the intensity of them. And just so you guys can see the other shade on camera, why don't I take that other one and apply it to our don't eye? And you can see this one is even shinier, it has more reflect, whereas this one is a little bit more satiny. So even though this is our don't eye, these shadows are so pretty, I still kind of like this look, but I'm gonna go ahead, wipe this off, make it match this eye so you guys can see the final look. All right, I'm back, the eyes now match, and we're gonna go ahead and add some mascara. So this is the Lash Flash Strengthening Mascara. Here's what the wand looks like, and we'll go ahead and add a couple of coats. Can we talk about this for a second? Before, after. What? Okay, eyes are looking good, and let's finish it off with the final step, which is gonna be lips. This is the lip gloss in the shade In Charge. We got a little tint of color, we got a little bit of shimmer, and that's gonna complete this look. You could do this full face look in less than 10 minutes. Perfect for every day. And you can shop the Everyday palettes at thelipbar.com and Walmart. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope these techniques were really helpful to you. And don't forget to subscribe to the TLB channel. Bye.